Good morning. Welcome to another episode of the Here and Now videocast. And today I'm joined by my really good friend who I've known for quite a while now, by Stéphane Compain. I'm working on my French and he said that was pronounced really well. I'm not going to give too much of an introduction because I'd like him to do it, but I hope we bring you a really great interaction and discussion. And at the end of the videocast, or even before, I will put his details. So if you need anything from him to discuss his services, great, friendly, warm welcome, please reach out to him. He'd be more than helpful. I'm speaking for you. Is that okay? Okay.
I'm fine.
Sorry.
I'm fine. Don't worry.
I'm speaking for him, so I hope it's okay. So Stéphane, thank you.
So I'm Stéphane Compain. Like Lyndsay said, I'm 57. I've been married for more than 30 years, and I have 3 kids, 2 boys and a girl. So the 2 boys are already working, and my daughter is studying veterinary medicine in Lisbon. And I'm now an entrepreneur for the past 8 years. I co-founded my company 𝗪𝗲𝗻𝘀𝘆𝘀, which is an immigration and relocation firm supporting new hires arriving in Luxembourg into settling in smoothly into Luxembourg new life.
Okay, thank you. So we're going to go back into time. What made the man?
Well, what made the man? That's an interesting question. I think, like for everybody else, what makes a person is more the journey than partly it's the education, but it's the journey until you reach a certain point. And I'm a true believer that you can always improve, and I'm working on that. Learning new things all the time. But going to the past, I was born in London.
You're born in London?
Yeah,
I didn't know that. Oh,
I have an interesting family background, because my father was a banker, but my father was born in Hanoi. My grandfather used to work in the colonial administration in Asia at that time. My mother was born in Madagascar because my grandfather on my mother's side was in the Navy.
Okay.
And I was born in London. My brother was born in Djibouti.
Oh, wow.
And my sister was born in Thailand.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, interesting background. I grew up in the UK, in Djibouti, in Thailand, in France, in Lausanne, in Switzerland, Geneva. Was in boarding school in France, and I was in a very loving family, but yeah, quite strict. Communication is not the type of communication we would have in families nowadays. Less open discussions, but yeah, I had a happy childhood. Left home younger than I would have expected because I was in boarding school, which was not really something I wanted. I was a bit of a difficult, my parents would say a difficult child, but I realized later that I was more a different child, meaning that I loved to read, and I loved to spend time, quiet on my side, reading books, and that was the joke. A lot into sport as well, but I'm sometimes had issues to relate with some of my friends because I thought I was a bit different.
In what way?
Well, I difficult to realize now, but I'm different in the fact that I was very introvert, had difficulties to make friends, realized really late that some of the things that happened in my childhood where I was bullied, but I didn't realize at that time. So I often overreacted. I got into fights. I had problems with my teachers, and all this led to the fact that my parents took me out of the school, and I had to go to boarding school, which was a shock. But then it created a new family. My best friend is from that period of my life, and it was in the mountains. So I was skiing all winter, hiking, and I was in the nature, which I love, and it built who I am. And then after my baccalaureate, my parents at that time were in London, so I found a business school in London and started a business school. I've never been a good student. I was always average or average minus, but yeah, I managed to pass, and then I did my military service in France. Basically in France at that time, you could do the military service, or you could work for a company abroad for 1 year. So I had the option to work for a company in Madrid, but the thing didn't get through, and I realized that I had no choice. I had to go to do the military service, but I didn't want to do the normal military service, to be, somebody standing by and, at the entrance of a camp and doing nothing interesting. So my idea was to be in the paratroopers. But I couldn't do that because I had eyesight problems. And so I said, okay, I love skiing, I'm a good skier, so I want to go into the Alpine Corps. And a lot of people find ways to avoid, at that time, look for ways to avoid the military service. And on my side, I found a connection through a cousin of my mother to be able to do what I wanted to do, which into the Alpine Corps. So I went into the Alpine Corps, and it was an incredible experience. I joined a specific unit, did all the training to get there, because that unit, what I loved about that is that we were spending all time outside of the camp in the mountains, where I always had issues with the authorities. So when I was in the mountains, lieutenant or captain, there was no this type of relationship. You are people outside hiking or on skis. You have more or less the same level, and it was a great experience. I did that during the Olympic Games in France. So I was part of the group of security people on the slopes, protecting the Olympic sites. So that was a great. And then I went 2 months in French Guiana. So I was in the jungle.
Man, I didn't know all this.
So this was it was really and knowing that in a lot of countries military service has been suppressed. I think it's a big mistake because it helped a lot of people to grow, to find their ways. There's no social element.
The hierarchy in social is
social hierarchy.
Everybody's together.
Yeah, exactly. Whether you're coming from a wealthy family or a poor family, we are all together. And at that time, a lot of people learned a job. So I know a guy who became a truck driver. He was a truck driver in the army, and when he left, he had a job as a truck driver, which maybe would have been very difficult if he was not able to do the military service. And then when I got out, I went to Paris because my girlfriend at that time, that is now my wife, was working there, and I found a job in the moving industry. And since then, I've never left the mobility industry. I never thought I would work in that sector, but here I am in the mobility industry, moving, and then now relocation.
And I didn't know a lot of that, and it's so great that you shared so much, and I love it. And before we move forward, I'd like to ask you, with all those beautiful gems that you experienced growing up, what was the moments that shaped you the most? Because there's something very special about you, and I say this all the time. The way you see the world, we'll talk about the kids later, but there's something very different in the way you kind of...
It's my wife, definitely, it's Sandrine.
Okay, that's Sandrine's now, or when you met her,
yeah.
but shaping you, because a lot of who we are today, a lot of the core structure is formed in those formative years, right? Where you were born, where you grew up, the parents, the mindset. We say something, just a golden nugget that you can say, it was this moment, or living here, or living there.
I think that, so the difficult part of being an expat kid is that, and when I was talking to other people, or still now it's okay, but when I was younger, is that I have friends that I have the same friends from childhood, and maybe now they are 40 years old and they still have this same group of friends. For me, friendship was really having good friends started when I was nearly at university, because otherwise before that I was moving all the time, and so I was, you keep a relationship from far away is not easy, especially that at
Back
that time,
there was no,
we didn't have no WhatsApp, no internet, and
but you feel that did good for you, because it shaped you into someone who's very charismatic, open-minded. You connect easily with people.
Well, this is new. This is new, because I was really an introvert. It's not something. It was very difficult for me to talk to people, to interact with people. I still remember that my wife was asking me to talk, and she was like, open your heart, share your feelings, say what you have to say, whether it's if it's yelling or if it's crying. Share your feelings, and I was not able to do that before I met her. It was very difficult for me. I was more overreacting with anger. So I told you I got into fights. I mean, from the beginning, sport was a big thing for me, and I was like, when I joined this unit in the army, this is something I wanted to, and I put all my strengths, all my mental vision into doing this course and be able to join this unit. And I think the army for me was a great experience, especially that I did it in a way that brought me something. It's just that I was in a camp and guarding the camp and doing nothing. Here I was involved. I was lucky to participate to the Olympic Games. I went to French Guiana. All this brought me a new vision as well.
Okay. And the reason I was asking that is because most of us look at our past with often regret or disappointment, or don't even want to look. But I see a lot of goodness came from it all, and I was curious as to because you don't carry so much of the anger, but at least not perceivably. So
I mean, this has been a journey. This
100%,
is new.
100%.
This is new, because you would have talked to me 20 years ago, 25 years ago. I mean, the discussion would have been totally different. Yes. I wouldn't have been at peace. I had issues, relationship issues with my parents, because I was, I mean, remember we had discussion about it, and I was blaming them, and really it's, my relationship with my parents improved not long ago, maybe April, March last year, just listening to a podcast where the guy says,
just to share.
Well, it's a French guy. I don't remember. It's just it's just that the guy said, "Who are you to try to change the others? You need to change yourself first, and then by changing yourself and being a better version of yourself, you will have the people change in front of you." And I've been all the time trying to change my parents to be better this, more that, less this. And this was like, I'm not, why should, who I am to try to change somebody? We are, everybody has a free will from their birth. So, you can decide whatever you want. And I cannot, if you just stand up now and leave the room, well,
keep talking.
Yeah, I mean, who I am to say stop.
But that takes a lot of freedom and peace from within to be able to accept that, because like you said, we have this thing that my problem is in you. So I need you to change so my problem goes away, right? But to have that peace and understanding that no more.
And the same guy, right? He's saying, you know what? When you're blaming somebody, pointing at somebody, when you point at somebody, look at the fingers.
Pointing back at you.
You have 3 fingers pointing back at you. Beautiful. And this was like a click in my mind, and I was like, wow, okay. And my wife Sandrine had a breast cancer last year, so we went through all this, and she had at one point a discussion with my mother, which was a bit tense. And my parents came home, and I was able for the first time since I was a teenager to have a real discussion with my mother, without yelling, without cry, no blaming from both sides, and it did us good. I mean, my mother is my mother. And it's funny because we celebrated her 80th birthday, and she was everything went perfectly well. She improved on her side, we improved on our side to have a nice moment together. And now, in nearly all the relationships I have, whether it's customers, whether it's suppliers, friends, people that I meet, I try to be more open-minded about how I feel about what they are doing. And also, I think that having changed myself, it's funny because I think there is a law of attraction as well. I attract different people, and I push away people that don't correspond to my values. So somebody I was reading, how do you, a herd, you say, a herd?
Herd.
The herd of animals?
Herd, yes, yeah.
And he said, there is a difficult path when you grow and you improve yourself and you do some training, mentoring, and so on, is that suddenly there is the initiation path where you will move from one herd to another one. And in the middle, you're going to be the lone wolf.
And I've been through that.
Yes. I mean, I have people that, I was very close to that they are still friends, they are still relationship, but I don't have, we grew differently. It's not that I don't respect them and then I don't like to spend a bit of time with them, but we move on a different path.
And you were saying that you've changed. I wonder, I've known you, I don't know, 4 or 5 years, maybe 6 years. But you seem more wholesome. So I wonder if I don't know, it's not important for now, but I see you more at our event last week. I watch, occupational hazard. You see people, and you seem so much more grounded. I see you with your kids, what you do, and you've always been an amazing father. I'll always sing your praises for that. But I don't know if you've changed or you've just accepted,
No, I've changed. Amazing father. I've always been a loving father, but I realized also that I was in this mold where I was raised like that, hardworking, So, push, bend and accept everything that, batters on you. That's your fault if you don't get a promotion. That's your fault if you don't get a bonus. But yeah, you have to work. You take more work and you go early at work. You leave late, and so for a long time when the kids were young, I was present but not so present. And I still remember when my oldest son one day, I don't remember what age he was, but he said, "I don't want your shitty life." Wow. Okay.
That can hurt a lot, no?
Yeah. But it was
true.
Yeah, true. Yeah, it was completely true. And it was frustrating because I was really working hard and making all the effort and going the extra mile. And then around me, I would see people getting promotions, getting bonuses that I wouldn't get. And I was like, I was working for a big corporation. And then, okay, so then the reaction was, okay, I need to go an extra mile. I go and really didn't work. I went through a burnout. I hid it, and I said, now I realize it was a burnout, but nobody knew about it. But yeah, all the symptoms when I heard about people having a real burnout, I had a real burnout, but I pretended, and really the switch was and the real kick and the blessing was when I lost my job.
And what happened in that moment?
Of course,
what's the blessing in that?
Well, it's two things. First, shock, of course. I've been working 13 years for the same company. I had 2 kids doing studies at that time. I still had a mortgage. So you're like, wow. But then I also felt good at that time, and the good part is I was well supported by Sandrine, my wife, and you have so many couples where when there's a hiccup in your life, a problem, the spouse is blaming the other one, and when there's somebody losing a job, of course, suddenly we have to cut all expenses and to be very careful because we don't know what the future will be like. And for us, it was really important that the kids could continue their studies, and we were going to do anything to make sure that they could continue their studies. But it was kind of a feel of freedom as well at the same time. Okay. The first thing I did is that I worked with a transition coach right away, which was perfect for me because she really kicked my ass. Yes. She didn't say, I couldn't say just yes or no. I had to explain why. And at first was like, she was like torturing me. And I felt I was, after 1 hour or more session, I was like getting out of there completely exhausted, and I couldn't drive, and I cried, and I'm not ashamed to say that. She really, she broke everything in me, all my old belief, so that I realized I could build myself again from a proper,
create a new foundation.
Proper foundation. So this really helped me, and it brought me clarity because we were working on what I disliked in my previous job and that I didn't want at all in my new life, what I really loved in my previous job and what I was looking for. And so we worked in difficult time because I didn't get a lot of interview. I was too old, too experienced, too expensive, too whatever. And suddenly, when I encounter discussion with someone and then said, wow, I cannot find a job. Why don't I create my own? And, I came back home and I told Sandrine, let's set up our business. And it's funny because the last session I had with the coach, I went back to say, what have you decided? How is your search going? And I said, well, the search has stopped. I'm going to set up my own business. And she looked at me and said, I knew it.
Oh, wow. So she could see it. She was actually
but
supporting you to go there.
I was coachable at that time.
That's
because I have friends that went to see her. I know friends that people that went to see a coach, and it didn't work. It didn't know. sometimes it's not the right coach for you, or sometimes
you're just not coachable.
You're not coachable. Mm-hmm. And again, it's the blaming.
That, as we said before we started, is the biggest enemy of our society today. The victim mindset. People stay in it so comfortably, but it deteriorates so much, right?
I've been in the victim mood. Sandrine has been like that as well, and you know, and you have to be careful, because this dark side of you sometimes can, when you have a long month of January with gray, and maybe you have an issue, you have a small health problem, then the dark side of you is just coming slowly behind your back, and you have to be very careful, because then again you start blaming everybody but you.
It doesn't really leave, right? I love that what you're sharing. You got to become stronger than it. Is that what you're saying, right?
Yeah.
Because it doesn't ever really go away.
No.
Most people live stronger than them, so they stay with it as the way they live their life. But when you do some work, some awareness, some reading, some coaching, you become stronger than it. So when you see it coming, you don't let it overtake you. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, because, and it's funny because I participated to mastermind a few months back, and one guy was coached in front of everybody, and the guy, and I saw myself a bit in him, is that to protect himself from his sensibility, from the pain from his childhood, he was the guy always making jokes, making jokes about everything. So everything was a kind of fun game. Okay. But you could see that when the coach started to push him, suddenly the armor was starting to break. Yeah, and basically and everybody's using whatever
defense mechanism.
Yeah, it can be. Like this guy, it was making jokes, humor about everything, which was sometimes could be painful for his, family or friends, because, you cannot joke all the time about everything. But for him, it was a defense mechanism.
He needed it, yes.
And that's why you have this. We all have a duality, a fight between. And you have those movies where there is good and evil in you, and they are fighting all the time. I think that's true, and you have to, and it's why I'm keep learning, reading, listening to podcasts to improve myself, because like everybody else, sometimes you have a tendency. It's been raining. You had a bad day at work, there is an issue with your family, and you wake up and then everything is dark. And, I learned a new thing, is that you wake up and then you put your hand on your heart and you just say what grateful for, I'm in a good health, and you smile, and you're still lying in your bed, and I had a great day yesterday, and I have a fantastic family, and I'm happy in the job. And then you start your day with full of positive energy. So even if
you're facing a hard time,
even if you go to the office and then you have a bad day, your energy is already here. So if you're hit, your energy is going to go down, but not down. Yeah. If you start with a low energy, then you're already down.
Just going to get lower, right?
Yeah. So it's all those, and this is new. It's past 2-3 years that I saw those. So I'm just improving a bit, and I'm learning all that. But for me, the real declic was during the COVID.
When what happened there? That was the
really is switched my mind, and that's the version 5.6 of 𝗟𝘆.
What happened?
Well, David Holland.
Yes.
So David Holland. So we're working in a field where we help people moving around. So COVID hit. Company was really brand new, and suddenly nobody is allowed to travel. Nobody is allowed to visit apartments. So how are we going to survive this really tough time? And so at that time, David Holland was our business coach. He has been our business coach for 5 years, and he said, "Well, that's a great opportunity." I was like, what an opportunity, you know, with the COVID, we are stuck at home and our business might, you know, disappear because of that. And he said, well, that's a great opportunity because, and we are lucky to be in this time because everybody is in front of their screen, whether a phone, whether a computer, whether, you know, a podcast. And so you need to be in front of them. You need to post on LinkedIn, do videos. And he was like, videos. And I said, no, I cannot do videos. I hate to do it. I'm not good. And I don't want to do it. And then the week after, did you do a video? No. And then after 3 weeks into COVID, one day he said, okay, did you do a video? And I said, well, no, I didn't do a video. Well, I did a video, but I cannot use it. I said, what it is? I said, well, you know, we are all locked down and my daughter cannot do her dance class. So there was a challenge that they had to do with one of their parents at home dancing on the music of Flashdance. And so I just dressed up and I put, you know, leggings and I danced with my daughter on the music. And I discovered that it was published on the Instagram of the town hall where the dance school is. And when I told that to David, he said, that's great. It has to be on LinkedIn. I said, no, this guy is completely crazy. I cannot put it on LinkedIn. And they said, yeah, you have to put it. And he insisted. So, you know, I cut it and wrote a text and prepared the post. And I said, wow, no, I cannot do that. I think I waited like 15 minutes before hitting the send button.
That's not long. You're brave.
And then I did that and I said, I'm dead. I'm dead. I mean, my reputation is ruined. And then the reaction was just incredible because at that time, only bad news, you know, people dying, lockdowns, and we don't know, people getting sick all over the world and PCR tests and whatever. And then there's this crazy guy dancing on with his daughter in a tutu and not taking himself seriously. And suddenly I realized that for the first time I could be myself, you know, the fun guy that, you know, loves to make jokes, doesn't take himself seriously, can work seriously. And I didn't need to be two different persons, one at work and one at home. And really it helped me a lot and realized that, you know, and also realize that a lot of people are like that, is that we are all at one point waiting for the approval or for recognition from the others. And I was into that when I was telling you I was working hard and I was looking for recognition, a thank you, a well done, Stéphane, that I didn't get. So I worked harder, expecting that at one point it will arrive. You know, I didn't get an increased pay raise or a bonus. I would work hard, you know, to get at least some recognition, a thank you, good work, which I didn't get. And then with this video, I realized that, well, I don't need that. I don't need to please everybody, you know. And I realized that, and I had some comments from people saying it doesn't belong to LinkedIn. Well, I don't care anymore. You know, it reached my audience, and the post that I'm doing nowadays is partially business, partially about entrepreneurship, partially about my personal life.
But it's you.
It's me.
It's you.
It's
right?
me. It's, you know, and people buy from people. It's what David is saying.
Exactly.
And people buy from you because they see a person, and that I'm, you know, I'm who I am. And if people don't like what I'm doing, they are not my people. They are not my people, and they are not my target audience. So that's fine. Now I'm fine, at peace with it.
You've got a wonderful heart and growth mindset, Stéphane. It's really admirable to watch and listen.
Well, but it's been a work in progress, and it still is.
And in that moment, you're supposed to say thank you. Receive it, because
yes,
you've done a lot of work.
You told me several times.
You blocked it. Yes,
thank
you've done
you.
a great job.
Yeah, that's also something that I'm working on it to accept when. And it's still a bit difficult. There's a guy in my industry, he's in Canada, name is Ken. And he wrote a post last week saying that, you know, I was an inspiration for him. And I was like, sorry, but it's the other way around.
Okay.
You know, this guy for me, he's great. He's a great knowledge in the industry. He worked for big companies. He's, I mean, for me, I learned a lot from him. But then I realized that, and we had a discussion, and he's learning from me, but on other topics, you know, like family related, business related, mindset. He's going back to the gym because he see that, you know, I have this, and like, okay, now I have to say yes, I accept that, you know, I can inspire.
You don't have to, you choose to.
Yeah.
You know, because if you say you have to, you feel like, but
yeah, but
it's really still important, you know.
But it's still work in progress, because I still sometimes don't feel that I'm legitimate.
Your vulnerability is so powerful, Stefan. It's like, wow, it's a rare thing to see such vulnerability, you know? Where you can just speak your heart without, this is who I am. And that authenticity.
And I mean, the whole discussion we have, you know, I talked about relationship with my mother. She might see this video and our podcast, and I would never have done it before to, you know, open who I am. Now, well, you know, if it can help other people to...
But you're speaking from a place of love. There's no bitterness. There's no resentment. I'm feeling you.
No.
And you're speaking, and whenever you speak from a place of love and authenticity, no matter the message, it'll always be received well. Even if the message is initially met with resistance, it will permeate faster than if your message is, oh, hold on to your anger and don't let it go. So what you're doing, I mean, oh, like...
and you know, the law of attraction, I have people that came to me that I've never met in a room, in a, I don't know, at an event, and people would come to me and say, wow, I don't know you, but, you know, you have something, your smile, your energy, and we're like, again, I'm like, you know, why me? You know, I'm just a, you know, normal person, but yeah, I have to start to agree that, yeah, I have something that I can share with others. And what I've learned as well is that you should never stop growing, whether by learning, whether personally, physically, everything. You know, you should always grow the branches of your tree, and this is what very powerful. And if one branch is bigger than the other, what will happen? If, for example, you have, you know, your tree life, and you have, you know, business, couple, family, whatever, sport, health. And if you decide that you focus on your job, so this branch will grow, those one will stay small. Yes. And what will happen is that this one will be too big, too heavy, and will break.
And then you don't have much left, because those are not going to be strong, right?
Yes. And you cannot work all of them at the same time. You have to work, you know, you can have both things like health and happiness, but it takes time. You have to look at it on a regular basis, stop and say, okay, how can I improve? And this is new for me. It's been, and it's why, you know, I started mentoring and coaching with David, and since then I've never stopped.
I love that.
So we've stopped coaching with David, not because he didn't do a great job, but after a while it's important to, it's like, you know, we were a bit running into circles, and we needed with Sandrine something else.
Yes.
And it's circle of life, you know, we might come back to him at one point.
Yeah.
But now we are in another group of people, and I learn, and I nurture myself, and I improve who I am, and I love it.
And the vision for talking about growing, what's your vision for the future? What do you What do you see?
My vision, and it's a bit my mantra, is continue to learn so that I can impact the life of others, and yeah, that can continue to be happy and bring happiness around me. And changing a few things in our life can have a big impact, like stop listening to the radio, stop watching TV.
Negative news, especially.
And I used to, when I was tired, I was going back home and I would, watch a Netflix film and then go to bed. Now I'm going to read a book. I'm going to read a book from a mentor, learn, read, something else, or, talk with my wife, do a game, whatever, have a walk with my dog. This is nice about
something more connected to yourself and to life, right?
Yes, yeah. But it's again, it's new, so it's work in progress, and I think that until the end, it's going to be work in progress. And if I can still grow and be a better version of myself day after day, year after year, I'm fine with that. I'm not perfect, but and again, that's why I need to improve.
I have so many questions. On that journey, please don't forget to stop every now and again and see the wins and the glory and acknowledgements, right? You said that.
Yeah.
Gratitude and acknowledgement for you and what you're doing, right?
This is really important
because I see you projecting a lot onto the world, and it's lovely. But don't stop. Don't forget to stop for you.
I'm taking care of myself first now, which in the past was everybody else, and if there was some leftover on the plate, it would be for me. Yes. So I was, never taking my full allowance of holidays. I was working during my holidays, and I was just an employee. It was not my company at the time. So I was always forgetting myself, and I could do everything, and everything was okay for all the others, but never for me. Now I realize that to be able to help the others and to be able to be happy, you need to take care of yourself, and you need to appreciate every step of your life. It's like, if tomorrow you want to, tomorrow you want to be rich and earn a Ferrari, that's fine. That's a dream. You have it. After 3 months, you might be bored because it's a car with 4 wheels. But that's fine. But if you don't appreciate what you have now, when you get your Ferrari, it won't. Yeah, because there is a difference between between happiness and possession.
Yes. Now, Stefan, what would you say are your core qualities that make you so exceptional?
Funny. That's a bad question.
A bad question? Is there such a thing for such a man with such a strong mindset?
No, because I had a coaching 3 weeks ago, and the lady said, "Okay, give me 20 qualities."
Okay, give us 5.
No, but she said 20. I think I stopped at 4.
Okay, so I'm going to push the boat and ask for 5. Is that too much? Is it difficult for you?
Yeah.
And may I ask?
I don't know, because maybe I should, and I didn't do the exercise because she told me that I should stop, and if I was not able by myself to find 20, I should ask around to my family and friends that they give 3 qualities.
You, this amazing father, husband, friend, man, you struggle to get past 4.
Yeah.
What were the 4?
I don't remember now, but I would say empathy. I would say it's not always been the case, but now it's happiness, joyful. I like to help others. I like to share with others. I'm a good husband, at least I think. You will need to interview my wife.
Okay.
I think I'm a good father. I'm not perfect.
No, don't.
No, I'm a good father. No,
okay.
I'm a good father.
Okay.
When I see the relationship we have with our kids, it's a great relationship. And coming back to what we've said before is, and it's what I think what also makes our success, the success of our company, is that we are not trying to blame others. So if there is an issue in the family, it's our role as parents and soon grandparents is to say, okay, what is wrong? What should we change? What can we improve? And in business, it's the same. We are not blaming the clients because he didn't understand our instructions. So, maybe 99 clients understood the instruction, and then the 100th ones doesn't understand what we are saying. So where is the problem? The problem is not coming from the client. We need to improve our processes. So we stop, we step back, we review our processes and say, okay, how can we improve that?
So another quality is accountability.
Oh yes,
accountability,
Yeah. And how do you say it? Perseverance?
Perseverance.
Yeah.
Perseverance.
Yeah, this has been always,
We got to 8, Stefan. That was good. No, did some of your homework for your coaching.
Yes.
No?
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
And yes, please go on.
There's a lot of things that you cannot do by yourself, and this I've learned late. Ask for help. In my previous lives, I tended to try to find solution by myself or with somebody that is not impartial, my wife. And to have somebody outside of your personal circle is important. And I'm a true believer in coaches.
Oh, wow.
I have a mental coach, I have a business coach, and I have a sport coach.
Fantastic. It's not marketing for me, by the way. He's just speaking, right?
No, but it's very important because you need to have people that push you out of your boundaries, get out of your comfort zone.
And it's so easy to get into.
And make you accountable. It's easy to fall back into some comfort zone when something is easy. And sometimes you have some, something that blocks you, and whether it's through a coach or reading a coaching book, it's sometimes, you read 30 pages, 40 pages book, and you say, okay, 80%, 90% was crap, or maybe you knew it. And then there is this one phrase. It's like, this was worth the reading.
And if there's a question I like to ask as we slowly come to an end, but I'm going to change it today. And I'd like to ask you, if you had a mirror now and you had to look yourself in the mirror, what advice or what gratitude, what would you say to the reflection that you see?
I would say, and it's what I'm trying to give to my kids, is go for it. Try it. My kids want to be entrepreneurs. Go for it. When they were kids, they had those crazy school projects, and we would, sometimes it was a pain because it's very often parents that have to do it because the kids are not able to do it. And so just to challenge the teachers, we would do this crazy project, just making, harder for the teacher, just for the fun of it. Or when our child decided to go to the US for 1 month, visit friends, and that he was at the time fan of bear mix, you know.
Okay, yes.
And he said, okay, I want to go with my bike. We said, okay, go for it. So he dismantled his bike. He had, you know, one boxer short, 2 t-shirts, and the whole space was for his dismantle.
Okay.
And he had a big suitcase, and he went to the US.
Okay, fantastic.
You know, nothing is impossible. And you know, in their potential entrepreneurial journey, I'm challenging them. I say, okay, it's not that I'm going to say something because I don't agree that you should do it or it's not worth it, but I want you to do it for the right reasons. And I want you to take into account all the possibilities, the positive and negative. So I'm going to tell you things that you might not like, but I'm just going to push at the right, you know, show the right problem.
Yeah. And so that's what you'd say to you.
Yeah.
For all you've done and achieved.
I mean, you need to be persistent. You need to be resilient. You shouldn't listen to people that say it's impossible. And I would have loved to be like my kids today. And again, it's not blaming my parents because society has evolved, access to knowledge has evolved. But, you know, when I see my kids where nothing is impossible, you know, I'm impressed.
Do you too? We're doing such a good job.
Yes.
Right?
Thanks, Stefan.
Yeah, we got there. And is there a final message you'd like to share? Firstly, a personal message, and then I'll give you space, a few minutes to speak about 𝗪𝗲𝗀𝘀𝘀 if you want. But is there something you'd like to offer the world, whoever's watching this? And
well, we all have, and that's part of life. That's part of, if you're an entrepreneur, that's part of your business journey. It's life and entrepreneurship is a roller coaster because you have an up and downs. You have you know, your kids become teenager, and as they start to be adults, it's a challenging time at home for the parents, and you yell and you're upset, and then when you get over it, you know, you have a great relationship with your children. And you know, I've seen also on the more personal thing is that I've seen, and it's still the case, so many people divorce nowadays, so many people, and often we are in a time where basically you have a washing machine that is broken. You don't try to fix it. Nowadays, you don't try to repair it. You just change. And I always use this example with the relationship in a couple is that, well, it's broken, we just change. And the main problem is communication. And we've seen that during COVID, where, you know, people suddenly were at home together and it was a nightmare because they were not able to talk to each other. And of course, when the relationship is impossible, it's better to, you know, get separated and have a happier life. But I see, again, you know, I've been married more than 30 years, and it has not been, you know, a happy journey all the time. We had our challenges, we had our moment of doubts, but it's worth it. It's worth it. And now I'm working with my wife, so, you know, and again, I would say that 90% of the people I'm talking to say, how are you able to work with your wife? And I said, well, I don't see the problem. Who can I trust more than my wife?
Exactly. But she's exceptional. I think she's really great. So yes, but I love that advice. That work at it, right?
And you have to challenge each other, and you have to accept advice. You have to accept remarks that sometimes can hurt, because when it's true, it hurts. And very often you don't want to have someone put you the mirror in front of you. So yeah, that's my advice.
And is there anything you'd like to promote with 𝗪𝗲? Just anybody who's looking, just
well, I'm you know, like coaches help people go through their entrepreneurial journey. We at 𝗪𝗲, we help people that arrive in a new country to smoothly settle in their new life. So basically, we help with work permit application, home search, and we take people by the hand and help them in their journey so that, you know, they feel at home very quickly. We know the way around the administrations and the paperwork, and that's what we do every day. And for us, it's really important that it's a partnership, whether with the clients, whether with the corporate account we're working with the suppliers. It needs to be a win-win situation, because otherwise it doesn't work. And I mean, I think that I'm sure that a great part of our success is that, you know, we treat people well, our team, our clients. And, you know, I had a meeting yesterday with a client, and they said, "Oh, wow, it's amazing, your communication. You always are accountable if there is an issue. You don't blame somebody else if it's your fault." So yeah, that's the way it should be in your personal life and in business.
Thank you. And I'll put all the details so people can contact you. Should they
pleasure. Yeah, they can reach me by email or LinkedIn. Connect with me on LinkedIn. I would be more than happy.
It's been such a pleasure. Such a pleasure. I know a little bit of you, don't know some people, but what you shared today was so great. So thank you for
your welcome. It was
your vulnerability.
And yeah, I think I start to love the exercise, which in the past I hated. To talk about myself. Now I also realize that it's a bit selfish to not to share my experience, to share, you know, that, you know, you can grow by learning, by improving all the time.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks for the invite to the interview.
Nice.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
And hope you enjoyed the episode.
Yes, we hope you had a good time, and thank you for watching. Sorry for the time.
Yeah. Okay. Bye.